Points, rebounds, assists, steals, stocks, double-doubles, triple-doubles, and field goals in the playoffs through 2 rounds. He is now eliminated. Here's Mark Daigneault, head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Just off the top, I want to acknowledge Denver. They displayed the mettle of a champion. Obviously, they've won championships, the core guys, and they displayed that in the series. I mean, the way that the run to this point and the run they gave us was impressive. They're a bunch of zombies, and we have the ultimate respect for their team. And we're better now than we were at the beginning of the series, and it's because of them. They pushed us to the limit, and we just have such respect for all the guys in that locker room and their staff and their organization. I just wanted to hit that off the top.
Mark, the swarming, compounding nature of your defense to be disruptive has been kind of a major storyline all season. Would it seem like to you to be able to summon that and have it be such a factor here today?
Yeah, I thought our pressure today was a difference maker in the game, and we accessed that at different times in the series, but today we did it, most consistently for the 48 minutes, and we didn't even play a perfect game on offense, but it was just such a catalyst for us. The pressure, the deflections, the turnovers, and even when they got shots, I thought the pressure and the help really disrupted the rhythm of those shots, and the guys just did a great job of sifting through all the noise of a Game 7 and just focusing on what we need to do to win, and we really executed it.
Mark, we talked yesterday just about, being this late in the series, not having many tricks left, and it coming mostly down to execution. But I don't remember, AC defending Jokic one-on-one as much as he did in any of the games in the series as he did today. Just what sort of led you to stick with that, today, and what you hope to see from it?
Well, the volume of it today was a result of how effective it was. But looking at it was a priority going into today, and he did an unbelievable job, individually. And then, if you're putting a 6'5" guard on a player like that, you need relentless help and relentless pressure on the entry passes, and it all works together. So he had an amazing effort individually, but that truly, when you're going to expose yourself like that, truly is a team defense to make that effective, and the guys, execute the hell out of that.
I couldn't make out what you were saying when that last group checked out right before AJ and those guys, but you put your finger in their chest, and one by one they kind of went to the bench.
Yeah, just acknowledging those guys. I thought they just gave a great effort. They're so easy to bet on. We're not perfect, but they're just so easy to bet on. They're great competitors. They do things the right way. They're professional. They're inside the team. Guys sacrifice. Everybody sacrifices for the team, and you want them to get these sorts of things because they deserve them, and not everybody always gets what they deserve, but this team deserves these types of opportunities, and I was just really happy for those guys.
8-man rotation for the majority of the night. You guys used quick rest for guys. Was that the plan, and then how much did that help you guys in this situation?
It really wasn't the plan. Jay Will and Isaiah Joe were live. There were situations I would have gone to them. I think the effectiveness of what we were doing was the reason why I drifted away from that and cut it to 8. You play every other day in the playoffs. We have a lot of good players that we believe in, and so we're going to need the depth of the team. But obviously, in a Game 7, you got to empty the tank, and that's what we did. But those guys done a great job of staying ready. We're going to need everybody as we move forward here against Minnesota.
With that, not many rotations, but guys were giving their all. 15 offensive rebounds tonight, diving on the floor, a lot of deflections. What do you think about the effort despite not having much rest tonight?
It was our best energy game and activity game. They drummed it up, for Game 7, and I just give them a lot of credit. Game 7s are there's not many games you wake up in the morning and that you're going to remember the game for the rest of your life, and Game 7's one of them. And to be able to focus through. It's really a distraction, it distracts you from the fact that it's still a basketball game. To be able to focus through that and perform the way these guys did today was very impressive.
Case and Wallace and Caruso both kind of came in late in the first quarter, kind of got you going into the second quarter. Did you know that they would give you that kind of boost, or is it just a normal rotation to getting those guys in?
It's normal, but they've made such a habit of that it's to this point, it's surprising when they don't. It's the pressure, the intensity, the competitiveness, and their team guys. They go in there. Denver played a lot of zone in this series. Those guys move the ball. They get into gaps. They're looking to activate their teammates, which is critical against man or zone, but certainly against zone. And so they've done that all season, but they were incredible today.
Your points off turnovers the last couple of games have been either even. I think they were even last game, and you only won by 3. And that's always been a big deal for you. Today it was back to, you have 37-7 back in your favor.
Yeah, 7 games is a long time. You're not going to play optimal basketball over the course of 7 games. It's hard to hold that level when the opponent is doing everything they can to make you completely uncomfortable. And I just thought, this wasn't our cleanest series. I didn't think we played our best. But I do think this series really tested our resolve. We went down 1-0. We went down 2-1. After those 3 games, we had led 123 minutes to their 17, and we were down 2-1 at that point. And it's hard mentally to get yourself to 0 and go win game 4, win game 5, and then same thing today. We're tied 3-3. We had doubled up the amount of minutes that we had led in the series, and yet we were tied 3-3. And these guys just keep coming. It's really incredible fortitude, and I thought it really showed the character of the team and the character of the guys, and we're going to need that resolve, as we move forward here.
Mark, you talked about the noise of a Game 7, and obviously you've got a couple guys that had experienced a Game 7, but with a bunch that largely hadn't. What'd you like most about just the way that they handled just the difference that a Game 7 is? Just
that we were who we are. That's the biggest thing. That's enough with this team. I mean, if we just bet on who we are individually and collectively, we're a really hard team to beat. And I just thought we stayed in character. We got off to a rough start. We didn't panic. We just played the 48, and we tapped into who we are. And that's the thing that I'm most satisfied with. Is I would hate to play a Game 7 like this, an elimination game, and leave anything on the table. You can live with the result, and when you are who you are, and that's what we did today.
J-Dub really bounced back in the scoring department today. What did you see from him?
Great force, especially early. It was definitely a conscious effort by him to use his speed and his power, and he was on the gas from the jump tonight. He was incredible. And you talk about bouncing back. It's like no player in the playoffs in this competitive a series plays great every night. Like Jokic is as good as anybody. Obviously, he didn't play great every night in the series. It's hard, And Dub, I think because he's in his 3rd year, takes a little bit more flack for that. But it's hard to perform in a playoff game in a 7-game series this competitive every night. But he rises up every time. He did it last year in the Dallas series. Game 6 was his best game after some struggles, and tonight was his best game after some struggles as well.
Concerning Dub, I think he had 12 points in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter. You were playing pretty well at that point, but that really put the game way ahead. How important was that stretch? The last 3 minutes of the half.
Yeah, it was a critical stretch. I thought the stretch that won us the game was when we went down early. They were making some shots. We were missing some shots. We seemed a little frantic. We seemed like we were just, tiptoeing into the game a little bit from a confidence standpoint. And I thought the maturity of the team to understand the length of the game, it's just like, let's settle into this thing, was a huge thing. Because, we went down 11 or whatever, and if that balloons to 20, it becomes a very hard game to manage from that point. So I just thought that was the stretch that won it for us, but the separation stretch was that in the second quarter.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, second in MVP voting last year, won the series in the battle between the 2 MVPs. Still waiting on that announcement. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander